My name is Carol Hillested. I'm the hike leader for the Brodhead Watershed Association. Normally I do a hike outdoors every month for groups of people to introduce them to some of the most beautiful trails, I think, in the world, but certainly in Pennsylvania, right here in Monroe County. My friend Patty O'Keefe is here today. She is a retired educator, a science educator, and a very accomplished naturalist, and one of my favorite companions to hike with. So we're going to set off.
Okay.
We do the hikes once a month, and the idea is to take people out on trails that are on publicly owned property, where you won't be crowded together with other people, but also to introduce them to these places that they can go for free. We have an ulterior motive because the Brodhead Watershed Association is all about protecting and preserving the pure water that we have. Drinking water is all around us, and the earth is the best possible water filtration plant. So when you see water cascading down a waterfall or in a creek, that's going to become drinking water. That's so beautiful, huh? All those different colors of blue. I personally like to be in the woods in the early spring and in the late fall, when there are no leaves on the trees, because you can see the shapes of the earth. This is a very typical habitat in the Poconos. If you get to a certain elevation, you're going to find these rocky outcrops like this with pitch pine growing there. It's a kind of pine that really needs fire to reproduce.
I often go out with Carol, I take groups out, and I like to go out with my grandkids.
You see all the deer prints?
Oh, yeah. Getting outside is great, and if you can get the family out and get them doing things, have them explore, little kids, what can they find? It gets a different view than you've had.
Every trail it's like people's fingerprints. Every trail is different. Every trail has its own personality and characteristics. Here we are, as far as we're going today. We've reached another pine barrens like the one I described below. You can see the pitch pine trees. Behind me is reindeer lichen. This rock is covered with lichen. We're standing on rock that's probably 400 million years old. Elevation is about 1,400 feet.
People will say, you know, you've been doing these walks for 30 years, you know, don't you get tired of the same old place? But every time I go out, I find something new.
We've seen some beautiful rocks. We saw turkey vultures circling above. Two good resources, the Brodhead Watershed Association. If you go to brodheadwatershed.org, click on programs, and then Get Outdoors Poconos, you'll find hikes listed by easy, moderate, and challenging, along with a description of the hikes and also maps, trail maps. The Pocono Mountain Visitors Bureau also has resources on their website. That's poconomountains.com. And Pocono Heritage Land Trust is another good resource. That's phlt.org. Well, we've come to the end of our journey. Patty and I are glad you came along. We hope you enjoyed this virtual hike and that you'll check out the resources and get outside on your own.